Hello, my friends. I got another one today. It was a post, basically, by Emma Watson, or as I prefer to call her, Hermione, talking about how she didn't like to use the term feminism because of the negative connotations that come with it nowadays. But it was a video also saying that if she didn't use the term feminism, how would she ever get men to use the term feminism? Now, on that post, I posted basically about how I prefer to be a humanist rather than side with one specific gender or group, like blacks looking for their help or women looking for their help. I think that we should all be looking for equality and should all be talking equally amongst each other and seeing everybody's viewpoints rather than just cutting someone out. Because if I wanted to talk about black rights, just because I'm a white male does not mean that my opinion should not matter. Because obviously I'm seen as the oppressor when I've done nothing to oppress them. Like, I didn't own slaves, I don't actively participate in the KKK, and the same with feminists. Just because I have male genitalia does not mean that my opinion does not matter. Just because I cannot repost as fast as these feminists can, they type a mile a minute and it's crazy. But just because I can't repost as fast as them does not mean that my opinion matters any less. Now, on this post, the first response that I posted was, and hold on a second, let me get it up. Humanism is the most equal belief. When you use the word feminism to describe your belief, it shows a bias to only caring about women's interests. Equality needs to be spread across all genders, races, and beliefs. Now, with that said, I'm not saying that women should not be fighting for equality. What I'm saying is, everyone should be considered. We should consider everyone in this. If women are fighting for equality and never consider what their actions do to men, or how their fight for equality makes men unequal, then yes, I'm going to say something about it. Because it's not just one group of people. It's not just women. If your thoughts on equality are going to make men into a subclass, then you're no better than what you're saying you're fighting against. And that's ridiculous. Alright, next off, there was a response from someone, and I'm not going to name names, obviously, just to keep everybody, safe in their safe space and not have to worry about people getting pissed off that I name names. But of course, the next response was, ugh, from some random guy with an arrow up to my comment, obviously dismissing it right off as though I'm just some entitled white male, which is, again, ridiculous. Next off, there was the original poster, and she posted, "Of course we're only showing a bias. We'd never catch up." And she put this interesting little meme down there, there's tons of these feminist memes out there. Then we have my next response. Never catch up? You can vote. You have the right to challenge men in sexual conflicts, basically rape cases. You have special privilege to not have to sign up for the draft, which, if you want to talk about equality, that's a bullshit special privilege. Women should be required to sign up for the draft. If they want equality, that's part of it. Your gender has special preference when it comes to family matters and court decisions. Basically talking about cases where, because of the stereotypes that are associated with women, they're considered the more maternal of the two in a marriage. And if the two partners are splitting up, then they will 9 times out of 10 get the children, regardless as to what the male is able to do for those children. It's just because of the typical gender roles that have been assigned to a woman. If you want equality, then guess what? That should also change. The maternal instincts shouldn't matter in a court case. It should be who can provide better for those children, not whether or not you're a female or what your genitalia are. The next post we have is, which means you're missing all the cultural problems that you're blind to because they're normalized. Men have their issues, but women still have more. And to me, that's really intellectually dishonest, because how the hell can you know that women have all these extra problems that men do not? I mean, in my previous video on domestic violence, I showed that women are easily supported. They have way more help when it comes to domestic violence than men do. They are seen as, they're trusted more in these domestic violence things, and men, regardless as to what happened, are usually the ones carted off to jail because women are seen as weaker, which is also bullshit, because I know several women that are not that weak, that can easily take care of themselves, and that can be the aggressor. So, like, I don't understand how you can say this and think that you're being honest, because that's just a bold-faced lie. You have no idea whether that's a factual statement or not. That's something that we can't even have numbers on, because until you can tell what happens in every single person's life, that statement is just totally wrong. Completely wrong. You can't sit here and tell me that you know for a fact that women in today's world have it harder than men. That's just BS. Next off, I asked this individual to point out these normalized issues that females face in society. And again, this female's friend posted, and most issues for men still stem from the patriarchy, so let's dismantle that culture and it would help both. Saying that men are also oppressed by the patriarchy, which kind of makes no sense, because if the patriarchy is to support men, then why are men oppressed by the thing that's supporting them and keeping them on top? That I don't get how you can make that assumption. Of course, I responded, "What?" And then the next statement I got was, "It means that many of your issues stem from the same problems that women's ones does. Like, men can't be emotional because it makes them more like women, which is a negative stereotype, thus shaming men for being the nurturing type." Which I find laughable, because in my 10 years of military service, most of the time when I was emotional, it was not the men that were downing me, it was the women. Because the women saw it that men needed to be strong and dependable, and the other men were understanding because they also were going through the same issues that I had, as far as, like, when we came back from deployment, the issues we had with, and I'm not going to say PTSD, because it can be, but I'm not looking for sympathy from you. But, I mean, simply coming back after being deployed to Iraq for 6 months, and every time there was a loud noise around, just jumping, because I thought it was an attack from a mortar or something like that, because my reactions had been so accustomed to it. And, like, yes, I did need help, and I did suffer a little bit from depression, but that does not mean, well, I'm getting off topic here. Regardless of that, generally it will be the women that stereotype the men as weak, because most women don't want a weak male. They want a male that can take care of them, that can support them, that can be helpful to them, that can defend them if necessary. Although now with this new wave feminism, they claim that they don't, and they want to be that. But it almost seems like a form of oppression to men, because then we're not even allowed to be like that. And if we are like that, it's like we're attacking feminism. Like, if we want to be strong for our women, it's like, oh no, I can be strong too. How dare you act like I can't be as good as you? To where, like, you can't win. You just can't. Like, it's either you can be the sensitive type and then have her walk all over you, or you can try and find a woman that respects the fact that you want to be a man and stand up for her, and wade through all the women that take it offensively, like, oh, I'm a woman and I can be just as good as you. And it's like, I'm not trying to detract from that. I just, because of my feelings for you, want to be there to protect and help you out and be the man in your life. That's it. And I don't understand how it always comes down to, no matter what, men are wrong. Just because of the way Men are. Like, and there's nothing wrong with us being the way that we are. Nothing at all. Basically, she posted a response saying, actually, men mock other men because they aren't man enough. Most women like nurturing men and emotional men. And it's really funny for a woman to be making this statement because, like, you have no idea what it's like to be a man. So why are you trying to make a statement like you know? That's like me trying to make the statement that I know what childbirth is like. I couldn't possibly know what that is like. I'm not even physically capable of doing that. Yes, men make fun of other men for, being the way that they are, but that's normal to us, and sometimes in some situations that's helpful, because when a man's like, fuck you, suck it up, dude, you're being a pussy. Yeah, sometimes we are just being a pussy and we need to suck it up. But if it's a serious issue and those are truly your friends, then they're not going to say that, and they're going to be like, dude, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, I've had friends do that for me, and it's helped out quite a bit. Like, I don't get how you can make this broad, overreaching statement, oh, all men are like this, when that's nonsense. You have no idea. Like, not all men are like this. And generally, in a group of men, like, you're going to get more support from these guys than you'd think. Then we have another meme posted by this individual, and it starts off with a nerdy-looking dude saying, date me, to a pretty attractive young woman, and the woman saying no, and then making the assumption because we think she's shallow, as if everybody thinks this way, which is nonsense. Then we have another one where it's reversed, and it's a nerdy-looking female, slightly overweight, saying, date me, and the, I guess, attractive male is saying no, but we think she's desperate. And again, how can you make that assumption? You have no idea the circumstances behind this. Then, when we think this is happening, oh no, I'm not interested in you at all, and the guy's being all, hey, sexy lady, and then they make the assumption when it's usually like this, no, I'm not interested. Really? Oh, I have a boyfriend. Oh yeah? He's tall and muscular, and sure he is. And then, please don't touch me. And I don't understand how you can say that all men are like this. We're not. And how about you turn that around? Because the same thing can happen from the other perspective. Women can do the same thing. And it can be annoying to men as well. But just to act like it's only a woman's issue, that's very biased. Then we have, because we think they're decorations for the guy in the middle. Now, I don't understand where all of these ideas come from, because you're painting a broad brush over society saying that this is the way all men think. And it's not the way all men think. Some men don't want multiple women. Some men want just one decent woman to be with them. Some men, may want more than one. Who knows? But for you to say that all men are like this and that this is a huge societal issue is totally intellectually dishonest. And then, because we blame women for sexual harassment, he groped my breasts. Cover your cleavage next time. The people that are saying that are generally not good people to be around. If they're saying that, you need to find more supportive people, because that's kind of bullshit. Like, if he groped your breast, if I was a man in that situation, I would step up and say something and be like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? That's totally inappropriate. I mean, again, from my military background, if I saw that in the military, we had a zero tolerance policy towards sexual harassment. And that was never acceptable. And yet, we never had as many false accusations as you do in the civilian population, because we respected one another. Regardless of gender, we respected one another. Then we have this, but this doesn't happen. He kicked me in the groin. Why weren't you wearing a cup? It's like, okay, look, that is totally not the same thing. Sexual harassment is not getting kicked in the groin by someone and then saying, why weren't you wearing a cup? How is that even the same? It's not like, cover your cleavage next time. The dude wasn't wearing like a groinless pants showing his dick off. It's not even close to the same thing. And then, because we think girls' problems are solved with makeovers to passively get male attention. How in the hell is that solving women's problems? Like, who thinks that way? Like, I don't think that way. Like, I could probably point out 20 other men that don't think that way. So, again, this is one of those preconceived notions from women. Women are making these preconceived notions. No man thinks that makeovers are for women to get attention from men. Like, okay, I can't say no man, because then that would be dishonest of me. Maybe there's some men you can find out there that think that way. But generally, if you walk up to a guy, he's not going to think that the heavier set woman going to get a makeover to look pretty is just because she wants male attention. Like, as far as I'm concerned, maybe she's just doing something nice for herself. Like, I don't really care. If she wants to get a makeover, let her get a makeover. And then, but boys' problems are solved when they accept themselves and get laid. No, that's not true at all. I've had a lot of problems in the past, and accepting myself and getting laid did not solve anything. Like, I've had problems with severe depression because of my prior military experience, and I guarantee you getting laid did not solve those problems. I still have problems with depression to this day. And you're going to tell me that all I have to do is accept myself and get laid to solve them? That's ridiculous. Then we have when females are taught to control sexual urges until marriage, and then when males are taught that their sexual urges are manly. Now, in today's current world, I don't understand how it can be seen like this now, because you have a lot of religious institutions that treat sex as if it's a taboo. And there are a lot of women that don't feel this way. Like, I'm going to leave a link because I'm going to talk about this further on in this video, but there's a woman named Mercedes Carrera. She is a porn star, and she started off as I think it was a systems engineer. I'll have to go back and watch the video again, but she went ahead and got her degree. She's totally open with her sexuality. She's not suppressed in any way, and it's because she doesn't let society suppress her. She doesn't care about what you think. She doesn't put any stock in what other people think about her. She just does what she feels she needs to do to be happy. And what your opinion of her is doesn't matter to her. And that's the way a lot of feminists should be. They should not care about the opinions of society or the opinions of other feminists or the opinions of men, because all in all, they don't matter. It's your opinion about yourself that matters. And I really wish that people would understand that. If you're happy with who you are, then you're going to be far better off in your life. Now, there's way more to this, and I could probably talk about each individual one for 3 hours, but I'm going to move on. Now, there's a point in this conversation where pretty much everybody is obviously against me because it's this one person's individual page, and of course she's only friends with people that agree with her. She claims that she's got several friends of differing opinions, but I guarantee that they don't support their opinions as strongly as I do. So basically what ends up happening is this. I am, however, just going to end this by saying you're wrong. And I'm proud to be a feminist, as well as many of my male friends who actually understand the issue and don't care about the change in status quo. Now, I find it funny that she just boldly states that I'm wrong and totally dismisses any of my opinion. It's pretty, again, that's a pretty obvious sign of third-wave feminism. That's usually the way it goes. Now, I respond to that with, Well then, this is the typical response of third wave feminism. You're wrong and I'm right. If that makes you sleep better at night, good for you. And now, I understood at this point in the conversation that it was pretty much not going to be a conversation anymore. It was just going to be a I'm right and you're wrong and you're stupid type of conversation. So I was trying to spool down the conversation and be like, okay, I'm done with this. But then next we have a response of, it doesn't. Knowing that people have issues, they're turning a blind eye to. As for typical, I just don't want to argue with you, but seeing as the people clicking like on my stuff are males, maybe you should consider that maybe you're missing something. So, I find it funny that just because her friends are clicking like on her page, validates what she has to say. And that, again, that's not validation, that's just more your friends agreeing with you. That doesn't mean that you have the whole of all men backing your claims. Like, it's ridiculous. And I make a statement to that point, basically saying, so your Facebook friends are clicking like. Guess that makes you right then. Popular opinion does not make you right. America saw the American Indians as savages, and that it was okay to kill them. You know, popular opinion. Didn't make it right. And then one of her male friends goes, holy shit, what? You're using that as a point. And yes, I am. And it's a valid point. Just because it was popular opinion did not make it right. And then she replies apparently, and then, I mean, we can say that his worldviews are popular ones right now, but okay. And to say that my worldviews are popular ones right now is kind of ridiculous, because I believe in equality for everyone, and the fact that just in this conversation I can be jumped on by 3 different people who just totally dismiss my opinion because they think it's the popular worldview, and my atheist opinions and are totally dismissed. Those are not popular worldviews. Popular worldviews are feminism, or the idea that all men are rapists. That's a popular worldview right now. And I totally disagree with the fact that trying to say that, no, not all men are rapists, and not, if all men were rapists, then your father would be a rapist. That's ridiculous to think. Like, are you seriously going to look at your father and tell him that he's a rapist just because he's a man? That's ridiculous. But then there's another post. I'm not saying it's popular. I'm not saying either that they hate their gender, unlikely, or that they understand something you do not. Has nothing to do with being popular, but more to do with being less ignorant. And again, attacking me as an individual, saying that I'm just ignorant and don't know what I'm talking about, not even wanting to have an open discussion about this, just basically claiming that I'm wrong. And this is, again, the typical idea behind feminism. I'm right and you're wrong. They do not want to entertain anybody who has a difference of opinion, because then they might actually have to consider, hey, wait, maybe what we're saying isn't 100% right. Maybe there is something to what men are saying about the hypocrisy in our movement. And then the last one, in fact, men supporting my arguments isn't popular at all because of toxic masculinity. And again, just putting a label on something does not make it true. You're saying that because I don't agree with what another man says that agrees with your opinion, I'm throwing out toxic masculinity. And all it is just a convenient way of dismissing my opinion. That's BS. Now, with that said, I'm done with this. I'm glad that she unfriended me, but I find it very, very hypocritical of her saying that I'm not willing to listen to her, I'm not willing to take her side, when she's not even willing to do the same. And then basically saying that I only came to her page to do nothing but be argumentative. No. If you're saying that you have people of differing opinions that you have discussions with and are willing to have a dialogue with, then you should be willing to do that with me as well. I obviously understand that feminism is important to you, but the fact that you can't even talk about it with someone of a differing opinion or the opposite side shows a lot about your character and who you are. So, with that said, I'm done with this. I'm glad it's over. I've said my piece. if you have any comments, please leave them in the description down below. I'm sure I'll probably get a lot of anti-men comments in the description, but oh well, that is part of me having my opinion. So anyways, take it easy guys, thanks for watching.